It was another same story, different day kind of night for the Nashville Predators, except for one big thing: the NHL debut of Matthew Wood.
You're Locked On Predators, your daily podcast on the Nashville Predators, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Welcome to the Locked On Predators podcast. Thanks so much for making us your first listen of the day. We are a part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Want to kick off our Monday episode shouting out our Locked On Predators insiders and, of course, our everydayers who tune in to talk Nashville Predators hockey with us. I am Ann Kimmel. I am a writer and co-host with Penalty Box Radio. And friends, I have a partner in crime.
You do. I'm Emma Lingen, and I'm the Predators site editor and reporter for the Hockey News.
It was another night, Emma, where I was so thankful that you are the Thelma to my Louise, because I was yet again at the final buzzer ready to drive a car off a cliff. Nashville Predators lost in typical storybook classic 2024-25 fashion to the Montreal Canadiens. We are going to recap that game on today's episode, including our one word to describe what we saw. We are also going to talk about one really exciting thing that happened, and that is the NHL debut of Matthew Wood. We got to see him with the team on the ice in the game last night. We're going to talk about his performance. Plus, it was a history-making hockey weekend. We're going to talk about that Alex Ovechkin record-setting goal and just kind of speculate. Are there some records for the Nashville Predators that could fall? Clearly not this season, friends, but we're talking in the future. So, Emma, a lot to get to. It is a game recap episode, and so we're going to slog through that as we have multiple times this season, but we do have something exciting to talk about. That's Matthew Wood. We're going to do that, but let's kick it off with the recap. Let's just be real. 2-1 loss to the Montreal Canadiens. Now the Canadiens fighting for an opportunity to make the postseason. Nashville fighting for tea times. That's just where we're at, friends. Emma, if you had to recap this game using one or more words, how would you summarize this 2-1 big fat loss to Montreal?
I am going with two words, and okay. I think it's funny because we talked to Steven Stamkos and Mike McCarron after the game. Both of them said this phrase in some form. They both talked about how all it takes is 5 minutes. So that's my two words is 5 minutes, because they played 55 minutes of good hockey.
Yeah.
But all it took was those 5 minutes where they give up back-to-back goals. And it was just like, thankfully it wasn't as big of a calamity as it was against Dallas, but similar thing to the Dallas loss. It's like as soon as they give up one and then they give up another quickly after, you're like, that's it. They're not coming back from this. That's it. Even though there was plenty of time left, it was early in the second period. We had, any other team be like, you've got so much time. They can still turn this around. For Nashville, it doesn't matter when that sequence happens in the game, but if it happens, the game is over for them. And that is what happened. They gave up back-to-back goals to Montreal in the second period, and that was that. And again, it was, we even joked, Michael McCarron had what looked like a goal in the first period, ended up getting called back. Montreal challenged for goaltender interference. They were successful. But this, of course, was after Steven Stamkos had scored. So we said, well, obviously they're going to call back the second goal because Nashville cannot have more than one of those in a game. We've already reached our quota. It's just one.
Yeah.
So it's just, it was just the same old story. How just 5 minutes or less even can completely just undo what was otherwise a night of decent hockey for Nashville.
Yeah. Along the same lines, my one word is 2 words, deja vu. Like, friends, we have seen this over and over again. And Emma's not joking when she says, we just had this moment when McCarron scored and then it was challenged. We're like, I know exactly how this is going to go. When Montreal scored in the first 2 minutes of the second period, I know exactly how this is going to go. And, we did talk with McCarron and we talked with Stamkos, and they, like you said, they said the same thing. This is the story of the season. It's the same story, and they are very frustrated by it, but it is the same dang thing. Same thing. So frustrating. So frustrating. I mean, Nashville outshot Montreal, 37-17.
Mhm.
More high danger chances. They had more puck possession time. They cannot score a goal. They cannot score a goal. Well, no, that's a lie. They can score a goal.
Just one. Only
Just
one.
one. Just
Yeah.
one. My gosh. And it is not this is what is so frustrating. It is not in this game for lack of trying. I mean, Nashville kept pressuring, they kept pushing, but like you said, it's like it goes off the rails. And is it a mental thing? I don't know. But there needs to be the fattest autopsy at the end of the season. Like, I am just counting the minutes until locker room clean out when we can just be like, somebody, anybody, squeal. Tell us.
No one knows. That's the thing. It seems like no one
Nobody,
knows.
yeah. And it's not that the team is content with losing, because if they knew, this is a team that I really feel like they would do the different thing. But
Yeah.
they can't seem to stumble on what is the different thing to do besides score one goal and then generate a bunch of chances, but not finish them.
Mhm.
It's the most baffling thing. We of course ask our insiders for their one words. Gayton's one word is don't blink. For the umpteenth time this year, we dominate, and then I look down to pour out another cherry Coke and look up and we are trailing. That is literally how it happens. 5 minutes. Catalina's one word is goalie interference, because can we get a definition? And once that goal was overturned, we lost the game. We shouldn't have, but hey, welcome to the 24-25 Nashville Predators. I'm curious, Emma, that goalie interference call, I I really felt like it was not going to get called back. I was surprised. I was not surprised that Montreal took a long look at it. I was a little surprised that they challenged it, because it looked like it was outside of it was Nick Blankenberg on a shorthanded, I think it was still shorthanded or at the very end of a penalty kill, was kind of in the crease area. He did make contact with their goaltender, but it was out, like, Blankenberg looked outside the crease, and then it looked like there was enough time where their goaltender had a chance to make the play unencumbered. But it was called back for goalie interference. Goalie interference. It's as easy to describe as what the flag nog is happening this season with the Nashville Predators. It is just that nebulous thing.
Yeah, no, it's a good comparison. Goaltender interference is just the kryptonite of NHL video coaches all over the league,
Yeah,
because it is the one thing. Like, other challenges, like offsides, pretty cut and dry what that means and
sure.
what
Yep.
counts as offside. But goaltender interference, it really is very, like you said, very nebulous. There's a lot of room for interpretation, but for that reason, video coaches are normally very,
Yes.
picky. They're
Hesitant.
very particular about
Yes.
when they challenge for that. So when they do challenge for it, it means that they're probably pretty sure, because
Mhm.
otherwise, if you lose the challenge, you get get a penalty. So I
Mhm.
think that it's it is really just very, like, there is no clear answer, and it's frustrating. Like, Connor Hellebuck has, like, put together PowerPoint presentations for the league on how, like, the rules committee on how frustrating it is that we don't have a clear definition for this. But I do think, I mean, first of all, with it just being this team and this season, and again, like, I know how this is going to go. As soon as
Yep.
they challenged it, I'm like, yep, it's coming back.
Yep.
But besides that, the one thing I will say is that, and this is just me trying to be as objective as possible looking at this, the contact that Blankenberg made with the goalie was not incidental. It wasn't like he got pushed into the goalie, or
Very
he,
true.
it was nothing. He, kind of got there on his own accord. So that was the thing for me where I was like, all right, I don't think, maybe they would have let it slide if he had been like pushed or
Right.
shoved into the goalie's pad or something. But I don't know. The fact that he had to, like, the goalie was stuck, like, out in the crease defending against Blankenberg, and then he had to kind of like leap back to get, to get McCarron's goal. I don't know. I mean, I really do think it wasn't like egregiously a bad call to call it back. But again, it's one of those things that it's like, if a team is going to challenge it, they're usually pretty sure
Right.
about
Especially where it was in this game, because this was not a point in the game where Montreal was up 5-1 and could be like, doesn't matter. This was going to be a 1-0, 2-0 game. And
Yep.
so Montreal had to feel pretty, like you said, they had to feel pretty convinced. I was like, man, we gotta nail this down, friends. It's time to have the define the relationship discussion in the NHL when it comes to goaltender interference, because you just walking around and you don't know if you dating or you just talking or your boyfriend and girlfriend with goalie interference. Define the relationship. DTR that, please. Coming up, there was one bright spot, and this is something that we have looked forward to since 2023. Matthew Wood made his NHL debut. Coming up, Emma and I are going to tell you what we thought of his performance and what his teammates and the coaching staff had to say. Today's episode is brought to you by our friends at Indeed. You just realized your business needed to hire someone yesterday. How can you find amazing candidates fast? It's easy. Just use Indeed. When it comes to hiring, Indeed is all you need. Stop struggling to get your job post seen on other sites. Indeed's sponsored jobs put your post at the top of the page and help you reach the right candidates faster. If your business is in that spot where you need the right hire, the pressure is on, and every day without the right person is a setback, that is exactly when Indeed's sponsored jobs are going to come in handy. They're going to make sure your post is seen by the right candidates right now. Right now, you can speed up your hiring process with a $75 sponsored job credit. Just go to Indeed.com/locked on right now and support our show by saying you heard about Indeed on this podcast. Terms and conditions apply. Hiring, Indeed is all you need. All right, Emma, it has been few and far between when we have recapped games like this and we've said, but wait, there's something positive to talk about. But there was something really positive to talk about. This was a really exciting night. Matthew Wood made his NHL debut against the Canadiens. Always love those moments. Love seeing that rookie lap, love kind of seeing that experience. We've heard from the other veterans in the room that there is something about that, even for them, when they see somebody kind of make their NHL debut. We saw Matthew Wood in this game, got a little bit of time on the second power play unit. He did play on a line with McCarron and Smith. I will say this. My initial reaction to that was like, what the what? But in a conversation with Todd Richards post game, he was asked, hey, what is the thinking process behind where you plug Matthew Wood into the lineup? And I have to say, Todd Richards, you make some sense here, friend, because his logic was you have a new player coming in. Smith and McCarron play a very straightforward, very simple hockey brand of hockey. Like they are straightforward. It's north south hockey. It's dump the puck in, get the puck, start cycling, get the puck on net. Nothing, super difficult to do. Matthew Wood joined the team in Dallas. He has not had a chance to like memorize systems and all of this kind of stuff. The other thing that he said, and I thought this was really interesting, the mom and me approves. He's like, also, McCarron and Smith out there, like you got two big boys who are not going to let anything happen to Matthew Wood. Matthew Wood is 6'4". I feel confident that he could probably handle his business, but he just seems like a very soft-spoken person. So, but I thought that made me feel better about it because I'm like, Matthew Wood, don't try to turn Matthew Wood into your fourth line identity guy. I felt better about that. Overall, Emma, what was your takeaway from Matthew Wood's performance and where you saw him fit in the lineup?
Well, I actually agree with you about, all of that. When I first saw that he was going to be on a line with McCarron and Smith, you're kind of like, all right, here we go again,
Nope.
just burying their, these young guys down on the lower lines. But I really did like and agree with what Richie had to say about those guys playing a
Yeah.
very straightforward brand of hockey. And it's like, for a kid coming in first NHL game, I'm like, that actually makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
So I thought that he looked really good,
Yes.
really good. And he had some really good looks himself. He looked comfortable. Like he had, I think he only finished with one shot on goal, but like he had a couple shot attempts. He had, he got some good looks. He looked like he belonged there. You didn't really see him making the kinds of, and this is not to say that he'll never make them, but like the kinds of, mistakes that you expect to see a rookie, especially in his first game making. He looked really responsible in both offensively and defensively responsible. Again, there, not to say that he'll never make a mistake, but I just think that if you're going off of his play, the way that he looked, I think he had like 13 minutes of ice time.
Yeah.
And we talked to Richie afterwards, and he said, yeah, that based on play, he was like, now we haven't had these conversations yet, gotta talk to Bruno about it too. But basically, if he's not in the lineup again next game or any game after that, it's not because of his performance in his debut, because his performance was actually quite good. It was very, very strong.
Yes.
Michael McCarron was very complimentary of him and the offensive chances that he created as well. And, he just had like a really good sense. Richie talked about how Montreal's a fast team and he seemed to be able to keep up with the speed, which is nice to see. Obviously he's got great size. So he's got good reach. But yeah, it was kind of funny. We talked to him a little bit afterwards about how like, yeah, it's, you're almost like, are you used to being the short guy on your line? Like that's kind of what it was. And he was like, yeah, I don't know. There aren't a lot of players McCarron's size in college, but
No.
it's yeah, it was, exciting for him. I mean, I thought very positive, like very positive first impression. The moment did not look too big for him.
I always, when I gauge how something like this plays out, like, you have somebody new coming into the lineup, especially a rookie making their NHL debut. And for me, I step back and I don't look at stats. I look at, if I didn't know, could I point out who the rookie is? You would not have pointed out. You would not have been able to watch this game without knowing and gone, number 52. Yeah, it's his first game. You would not have done that. He really looked like he was an NHL player making NHL decisions. Now, friends.
Aside from the fact that he has a baby face and was born in 2005, I was like, oh, suddenly everything hurts. Okay, like, ugh.
I know.
Other
It's such
than
a
that,
moment.
other than that, you would not know. You wouldn't have known
Yeah.
that he was the rookie.
I will say this, it's been really fun to have him, around, and we've got to talk to him, before this game, and got to talk to him before the game and after the game. And so it's been really kind of fun. But Matthew Wood he seems to have, and we'll get to know him more, as he's with the team, but he seems to have just a very calm, quiet demeanor, almost to the point where I'm like, blink twice if you're okay.
Yeah.
Like, he's so calm, and he's like,
He
he's
is
just
very stoic. It, like you said, it's one
yes.
of those, I'm like, is someone, like, off camera, like, holding a gun to your head or
Right.
something?
Like, are
Could
you
you
safe?
it's
Are you
are you
safe?
being held here against your will? Well, I mean, well,
Yes.
maybe. But but no, I mean, you
Yeah.
could definitely see, like, not on the ice at all, but
Mhm.
off the ice, talking to him, he was nervous.
He
He
was
was very
nervous.
nervous,
Yeah.
and I'm like, I don't blame the kid. Of
Yeah.
course you're nervous. But I mean, I thought he looked fantastic.
Yeah.
Again, like, one of the best, on at generating those chances and keeping up with the pace of the game. Like, he
Mhm.
looked as good as anyone out there.
Absolutely. Absolutely agree. And again, growth is not linear.
Right.
So whether we see him in these remaining 5 games, of course, that's a discussion that the coaching staff is going to have, but love that first impression. I think be patient as they develop him. I mean, this guy has not even seen a minute in the AHL. He just was like, "Hey, NCAA, hey, NHL." But love that first impression. Do want to point out that we talked with Todd Richards, and the conversation around what is going to happen with Matthew Wood is something that the coaching staff is going to have a conversation about, because Andrew Burnett has stepped away from the team to deal with a personal family matter. So Todd Richards kind of took the reins behind the bench, and then has been very gracious in dealing with the media and talking with the media before the game, and also post game as well. So that's a conversation that the coaching staff is going to have to have. I think this was a great way for Matthew Wood to get his feet wet in the NHL and say, hey, if there's a spot on the roster, which when you play in 11 forwards and 7 defensemen, there's a spot, maybe we'll get to see some more of Matthew Wood. We sure hope so. It was a really good, and it was a great NHL debut to watch. Really exciting thing to watch. Another exciting thing happened this weekend. A little hockey history made as Alex Ovechkin surpassed Wayne Gretzky for the goals in the Great Chase. The Great Chase is over. And we'll see where Alex Ovechkin ends his career. Coming up, we're going to talk about that moment. We're also going to talk about a couple records with the Nashville Predators. Ain't happening this season, friends, but could the Nashville Predators break some of those franchise records soon? We'll talk about that. Today's episode is brought to you by our great friends at Monarch Money. Have you ever checked your bank account and wondered, wait a minute, where did all my money go? Between dining out, things like online shopping and entertainment, it's so easy to lose track. That's where Monarch Money comes in. It's your personal CFO, giving you full visibility and control over your finances. Monarch Money is not just a budgeting app, it is a complete financial command center. You can track all of your accounts, all of your investments, and track your spending in one place. So you stop just managing your money and you start building wealth. Instead of juggling multiple apps to keep track of different things, you can use Monarch to check your finances, track spending, and even plan your long-term financial goals. So take control of your finances with Monarch Money. Use code LOCKEDONNHL at monarchmoney.com for 50% off your first year. That is monarchmoney.com, code LOCKEDONNHL for half off your first year. All right, Emma, everybody's talking about it. Not just Matthew Wood's debut, but I guess there was another big thing that happened over the weekend. Yes, Alex Ovechkin finally broke Wayne Gretzky's goals record. I have to tell you this, Emma. I had a moment of panic, and I'm not going to lie to you. Friday, I was at a musical, And at intermission, turned my phone back on, and I had like 3 messages from my son who's like, "Oh my gosh, mom, he scored. Oh my gosh, mom, he scored again. He's going to do it. He's going to break it." And this was against Chicago. And I had this moment of like, if I miss the greatest moment of hockey history that's probably going to happen in my lifetime, I'm going to be so pissed. Fortunately, he held off, and I actually structured my Sunday morning plans around the game against the Islanders, to like I was doing my workout, and I scheduled like this workout I face this way, so I'm going to do it at this time, and then the workout where I have to turn, I'm going to do it during intermission so I don't miss the TV. And I got to see Ovechkin score it. Did you watch it live when it happened?
I
Yeah.
did watch it live. Yes.
Yeah.
So, it was, I mean, it was incredible. I think, I don't know your thoughts on this. The more I kind of marinated on it, I was
Mhm.
like, I don't know that I think it was absolutely appropriate to stop the game and acknowledge it
Mhm.
and, do the video, on the Jumbotron, maybe do a handshake line, something like that, I think would have been totally appropriate. But when they started rolling out carpets and bringing his family out in the middle of the game, I was like,
Right.
"Oh, we're doing this now. Okay." I'm like, especially because it didn't happen at home. It was on the road. So it's like,
Yes.
I feel like this is something like, again, yes, you stop the game, you
Mhm.
acknowledge it, everybody, cheer for him, whatever. But then you do the whole ceremony and the fanfare that can happen at a pregame ceremony at your next home game.
Right.
I feel like the more I was like, this is weird. Why is this all happening in the middle of the game, which the Capitals lost, by the way?
Right.
So it just,
That
I don't
amazing
know.
goal was the only goal they scored. They pulled a Predators.
They did.
They pulled a
They pulled a
Predators.
purd. They did it.
They laid a
So
bird.
they laid a purd. Yeah.
They laid a bird.
So I mean, yeah, though it is like you said, probably, in our lifetime, one of the biggest moments that we're gonna see. And of course, Gretzky was there. They've NHL's been dragging him all over the continent,
Bless.
to because they're like waiting for this to happen. So he's probably like, thank God I can
Oh,
I can chill now.
he's like, "I just wanna go back into retirement, so could you just
Yeah.
already." Yeah. I thought I kind of had that same thought. I was like, "Oh my gosh, this is so amazing, and it's so momentous." And then, like, 15 minutes later, we're still doing this? Like,
Yeah.
I was with you. I'm like, "Wait, okay, are we?" And then, of course, you see all the Islanders guys just standing there like, and
Yeah.
it's a cool thing. It was so funny because it all happened so fast, and my thought was, did somebody get the puck? Because if not, if I was Ilya Sorokin, you know what I would have done? I would have stuffed it down my pants and kept it, and then, like, put it on eBay and made some cash.
Yeah.
I'm just
No, they
saying.
did get the puck. They did get the puck.
Did they? Yeah.
But also the fact that, like, they had him change jerseys in the middle too, because it's like they're gonna save the jersey and frame it, and I was like, "Okay, I get that, like, I get why you wanna keep the jersey, but he could still wear it for the rest of the game,
Right.
right? Like,
Right.
it would still be the jersey in which he scored the goal." Like,
The goal.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Like, are they afraid he's gonna get blood on it or something? Which
Which would make
personally,
it
I think
cooler.
that's what I'm saying. I'm like, I don't know.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
don't know.
It was
But
yeah.
not to take away from the accomplishment. I mean, truly remarkable. He is just a specimen. Like, he does not, I mean, anyone you talk to, like, who knows him, he doesn't eat well. He doesn't take care of his body. He is not like the stereotypical professional athlete who's so dialed in on all of that. Like, he does not give a flying flag nog about any of that. Like, he just loves hockey and he's a freaking wagon. Like,
Yes.
he hardly misses games. Mind you, he broke his leg earlier this year and missed over a month.
Mhm.
And he still came back and did this. And, like,
Yeah.
again, he doesn't miss a lot of games. he's so durable, and it's like, man, it must be nice to be God's favorite, because if I ate nothing but flaming hot Cheetos and beer all the time, I mean, listen, I already try to eat healthy, and I'm still not a, elite athlete, so I'm like, good for
Yet.
him. That's
Our
great.
time is coming. Yet.
Yeah. Yeah. Hey, he's 39, so I've still got time.
We got time.
I've still got some time.
I have to laugh because when you look at Alex Ovechkin, he looks like the guy that's going to show up to your 30th high school reunion and you'd be like, peaked in high school.
Yeah.
But there he is. Like, hey, set this incredible, like, thought unbreakable sports record. Peaked in high school. That's
Yeah.
just
No, I
vibes.
mean,
But
that's what you would think.
You go, buddy. I mean, like, it's clearly working. Whatever he's doing is working. So
Yeah.
you go on. It made me think, Emma, I was pulling up a couple of the stats for the Nashville Predators franchise stats. And like, friends, let's just not even talk about career stats for the net. We're just not going to go there. But single season in points held by Roman Josi, set in 21-22, 96 points. Do you think we're going to see that broken? And if you were a betting girl, Emma, is there somebody you can think of off the top of your head that's like, this is the player who would break that in a single season?
I mean, honestly, if it was going to happen, I would say Philip Forsberg. I could see that happening.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
21-22, that was the season that, like, everyone on the team had a career year.
Oh, do you
Um,
remember that?
yeah, I wasn't even here yet. That was before I started covering the team, but no, I know that was like,
Fun.
"Oh, I was coming to cover the Nashville Predators, and this is so great. Look at the season they just had."
Look at you living your best life right this minute.
It's been 84 years.
It has been 84 years, you all. Yeah.
Yes. So, but no, I would say I mean, yeah, in today's NHL, I can absolutely see
Yeah.
that getting broken.
Yeah.
Of the guys currently on the team, I would say Philip Forsberg.
Yeah. Forsberg, of course, holds the goals in a single season, 46. I feel like that one's going to get broken.
Oh yeah.
I'm not going to lie. I was like, oh, Stamkos is going to come dancing into Nashville and knock on the door of that bad boy. Well, okay, not this season, friend, but he has had seasons where he's had more than 46 goals. He's had two of them. But,
Yeah.
this may not be Stamkos's and it's funny, here is, as I was looking at these, I was like, who is in the pipeline that could maybe do that? I don't know, Emma. Like, I don't have anybody where I'm like, who it's going to be? It's going to be this person. I don't have that. That's a little bit unnerving. Here's what I will say. When it comes to assists, Roman Josi holds the single season record for assists. He had 73 in that 2021-22 season. He was on fire, y'all. But I was like, if Nashville were to get first or second pick in the NHL draft, could James Higgins maybe get that assist record? Because that's a boy who knows how to dish.
Yeah.
But again, I can't come up with anybody here, and I'm just going to speak this into existence, knowing that it may not happen, but I'd be here for a little Fedor Svechkov holding a record sometime. I know it's young. He's young. It's early. It's too early. But I would like to see Fedor Svechkov have an assist season like that.
Yeah. I think, I'm kind of with you on the pipeline and guys they have in the system now. I mean, well, maybe not even in the system in totality. Let's just say in Milwaukee right now. There are some exciting players in Milwaukee, like guys who I'm excited to see at the NHL level. But I'll be honest, I don't know that there's any like elite,
right,
like game changing. But like that's not, and I mean no disrespect when I say that. It is true. Like there are some guys who do a lot of good things really, really well. But are they going to be like franchise icon level players?
Don't
I don't
know.
know.
Yeah. Yeah. There isn't anybody who you look at the list and go, that one.
Right. Right.
Not that there can't be one, but there isn't anybody where you're like, this is the guy. This is the guy
Right.
who could do it.
Right.
We'll see if that changes after the 2025 NHL draft. Who knows? I mean, at the rate the Nashville Predators are going, they just increasing those draft lottery odds.
6
Friends,
losses in a row, baby. Let's
you
just
can't
full
stop
on
us now.
yeah.
Oh, you all
Just
2-1 to
headed
Montreal.
straight for the bottom. No, I mean the good or bad or just I don't even know.
The information, the thing.
The information that I will pass along is that I don't know the exact numbers, but like basically for the the Predators are pretty firmly in 30th place. Like I don't think they're going to finish below the
Mhm.
Blackhawks or the Sharks. I think like quite literally the Predators would have to go like 5-0 and both of those teams would have to go 0-5 and even then I don't know that they would still finish below either of
Right.
them. So it's like they're pretty firmly in, you know,
Yeah.
they're
30th.
they're 30th, guys. It's not 32nd or 31st. Like they're not that bad. They're only 30th. So yeah.
Can you believe we are saying that? I still have these moments, Emma, where I go back to July 2nd and I would have bet my left kidney that we would never say a sentence like that after this
I
first
was
season. Never.
I
Never
was
would have said
thinking
it.
about this. I was thinking about this today actually, where we were like, remember back like our preseason predictions? It's like, well, what's reasonable to expect? It's like, well, obviously playoffs, but
Playoffs.
like maybe even a division title. And I'm like,
Yeah. Can you imagine?
"Ah,"
Friends, we were
because
so
it's
bright-eyed and
funny.
bushy-tailed.
Oh gosh, those were the days, 84 years ago. But that was like I was actually just talking to someone today, a friend of mine who lives, he plays baseball and so he's like not really focused on what's going on in hockey, but he knows I cover the Predators and he's like, "How's the team doing this year?" And I'm like, "Oh,
I hate
oh."
that
And
question.
he said, "Oh, are they not good?" And I was like, "No, they're the 3rd worst team in the league." And he said, "Oh, I didn't know. Like I had no idea." I was like, "Yeah, they were supposed to be a playoff team this year. So it's bad bad." He
Yeah.
was like, "Oh, wow." I'm like, "Yeah."
Yeah. That is the worst question from people who, like you said, know that that I cover the Predators, but don't follow them. How's that hockey team
Mhm.
doing? There are not words, friends. There are not FCC compliant words that Minka would let us utter. So then we have to come up with, and then people say, why are they so bad? And then I'm like, get me a beer. Let's talk it through. And even then, we'll just be drunk and not have answers.
I
We're going.
mean, it's better than being sober and not having answers.
It's
So,
gotta feel better, right? Maybe that's what we're doing wrong, Emma. Maybe that is what we are doing wrong. Oh, you all.
oh,
And look, the fun, it is not over yet, you all. Don't think that we are done having a great time watching this team because tomorrow the Nashville Predators take on the New York Islanders, I believe.
we do.
Okay. Yep. Well, we got Ilya Sorokin all primed for that 1-goal game. So thanks,
Yeah.
Alex Ovechkin has him ready to let in one whole goal.
Yep.
So yeah, we're gonna preview that game on tomorrow's show. We're gonna try to piece together what has to look different for the Nashville Predators. We're gonna talk about all of that tomorrow. But today, before we wrap up, Emma, can you let everybody know where they can find you and your work?
You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Emma_Lingen, and you can find my work at the Hockey News.
You can find me on social media at @AnnK_Mama on Ice. You can find my work with Penalty Box Radio as well, friends. That is going to do it for this Monday episode of the Locked On Predators podcast. Thanks so much for making us your first listen of the day. We will be back tomorrow with an all new episode. We will see you then.